What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So the Los Angeles Lakers officially announced JJ Redick as their head basketball coach today on his 40th birthday. So happy birthday, JJ. But we're going to talk about the hire, whether we like it, dislike it, what this means going forward for the next couple years, and for the franchise as a whole going forward the next 5+ years. So we're going to talk about that here today. But first, if you could hit that like and subscribe button down below if you do enjoy the content and want to see more NBA content with the draft coming up this week as well. So first, obviously this was, for some reason, I know the reasons, it was a controversial hire for the most part by the Los Angeles Lakers. They had previously, which we did make a video about a couple weeks ago, were courting Dan Hurley about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago at this point. Dan Hurley obviously turned them down to stay at the University of Connecticut. Back-to-back national championships for him there. Don't really blame him there. And if anyone watched my video on him spurning the Lakers to return to Connecticut, and remember, I said that I was personally happy with that decision from my point of view. Obviously, Dan Hurley, incredible coach. I just thought that making that jump to college with his style of coaching, I don't think would have had the success that they were offering him. And 8-year contract, I think it was. I just don't think that was the best move for the Lakers in the immediate term and in the long term as well, with as the Lakers are. Now, I know a little off track here, but Dan Hurley, if he was hired to say a younger team like the Magic or the Cavs or like a rebuilding like Charlotte or something, I think that's fine because you're getting younger college players and bring up. And also, it's not a franchise like the Lakers that you're coming into. There's a different expectation in the Lakers. The Lakers, we saw how it worked in 2016, 17, that era, bringing in young guys. Well, even towards the end of Kobe's career, bringing in guys like D'Angelo Russell, Julius Randle, and then kind of the next iteration, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma. Like those guys, it was just never, those were always used as trade pieces to get an Anthony Davis or even going back 25, 30 years, 28 years, whatever it is, to getting Shaq. Like, the Lakers are never going to be a developmental franchise. In my opinion, that's just not what the franchise is about. They're about having developmental young pieces around. Like, I think Austin Reeves is a good, developmental piece that they have as kind of, be good as a third, fourth option. I think he'd even thrive in a six-man role if they were able to get the right pieces to put him in that role. I think that would be the best role for him. Obviously, his current role in, a starting position, and with the way their salary cap and roster is, I imagine that's what he'll continue to do, and, rightfully so. I think he's good enough to be a starter, but I just think that would maximize his career the best, and I think he could be one of the top 2 or 3 six men in the league if he ever did that. But besides that, getting back to the hire, the reason I wanted JJ Redick was because, one, I think he has an incredible basketball mind. Yes, obviously, and I loved his press conference today. He addressed the elephant in the room. I know I've never coached, and I was also happy with what he said, that he addressed Dan Hurley. Well, was asked a question about Dan Hurley, like if he had any salty feelings or, anything about them, trying to court Dan Hurley, and he said, Dan Hurley's a 2-time back-to-back national champion. I'm a 2-time champion in whatever division he said, 4th, 5th grade division. Like, whatever. He said, there's no hard feelings. Like, you kind of have to check your ego at the door, especially getting into a coaching profession and in the NBA profession, which obviously he knows that as a, 17-year NBA vet. Like, he knows that. He's been around. But the reason I wanted him was because of, one, his basketball mind. And obviously, I know that it's talking about the game, analyzing the game from a podcast or breakdown perspective or even calling the games is different than actually coaching. So who knows? Obviously, the jury's still out. Can he actually do this in an NBA game and, make these on-the-fly decisions that you need to as a head coach? We saw that. Obviously, no one knew that about Steve Kerr when he came in with the Warriors. It was like, hey, this is a really good basketball mind. He's obviously been around some great winners in his career, Chicago, Spurs, other places. He's been a GM. He's an incredible TV analyst and analyzer of the game, as I thought JJ was. I see some similarities there. But can he do this? They liked his philosophy, but would it work? You don't know, but you needed a change. The Lakers needed a change here, and I think this is a really good philosophical change. I know this is kind of all over the place a little bit, but do I think Darvin Ham was the complete problem last year? No. Was he a big problem? Yes. And I think mainly kind of just a philosophical change is I think what the Lakers need. I think what they've been trying to do for a while is, and we saw it last year with Anthony Davis, playing in 78 of 82, I believe, or 76 of 82. It was the most games he's ever played in his career. And I believe JJ said this. I don't have the quote in front of me, but he said that he wanted to feature AD more at the end of the game. I think this is even dating back when LeBron came in to the Lakers and they got Anthony Davis. He said this, 4 or 5 years ago now. He said, if we're going to win a championship, Anthony Davis has to be the focal point. He has to be the guy. And I think JJ sees that, and I think that's what he wants to do, especially since we're coming on LeBron going on, approaching, 30? I think he's a couple months older, or a couple months younger than JJ. I think he'll be 40 this December. So he's probably got, 2 years left in his career, probably, if he re-signs with the Lakers, assuming he does. So you want to take some miles off of his body in the regular season so he's able to do LeBron things in the playoffs. I think JJ realizes that, and I also think that he'll bring a different perspective in terms of getting other guys involved and other ways that you can play winning basketball and open more things up. You saw it. I'm going to keep making this comparison because I think it's a valid comparison, with similar careers. Obviously not the championships for JJ in his playing career, but to Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr came in and Mark Jackson already laid the phenomenal foundation in Golden State. Steph, Clay, Draymond was on the roster. They had already got Andre Iguodala previously, got Andrew Bogut previously. You had David Lee as well. And you had all these nice pieces, and then you bring in Steve Kerr, and he kind of just changed their offense. And it's incredible what changing your offense does. You take Steph off the ball, you move him off screens more, and then obviously with David Lee getting injured in that 2015 season, Draymond Green stepping in, that opened up and showed his playmaking ability, which us Spartan fans saw at Michigan State. But you saw that kind of just opened everything up, and then now we're sitting here going on almost a decade later and 4 championships later. That's what the Warriors need, and they were kind of knocking at the door for a couple years before that. Dating all the way back, 2012, they gave the Spurs a couple games, I think it was. 2013, won that first round series against Denver, and then ran into the Spurs in the second round. And then 2014, losing that 7-game series to the Clippers, in that, back and forth rivalry and kind of that mid 2010s era, 2013, 14, 15, 16, that kind of era in that back and forth. And then once Steve got there, changed the offense, and it kind of just revamped everything. Obviously, that also came with, Steph, Clay, Draymond, and, the whole team, kind of stepping into their form. But I think you could see something similar here with JJ. Obviously, he doesn't have as much to work with here when you're looking at the Lakers roster, but you still have LeBron James. You still have Anthony Davis. Okay, those are 2 solid pieces straight off the bat. Then you got Austin Reeves. Like I said, I think he could be a solid 3rd or 4th option. I would still personally like to see him come off the bench to add a scoring punch off the bench, maybe once you sub LeBron. However, they work out LeBron's rotational patterns, like you play Bron the first, 5 to 7 minutes, bring in Reeves. Then he gives that stint, then LeBron plays the last 7 to 5 minutes of the second quarter, or however that works out. I think that would be a good, stagnant rotation there. And then what do you do in free agency? Are you bringing D'Angelo Russell back? I doubt it. Still got Rui Hachimura on the roster. You still have guys, Jackson Hayes, Christian Wood, I believe, will both still be on the roster. But then are you going to make a swing and go get someone else? We've heard DeJounte Murray's name talked about. We've heard, Trae Young. We've heard Donovan Mitchell, which it came out today. It sounds like Cavs are going to sign Donovan Mitchell to that extension. So that's probably not likely. The most likely name, in my opinion, is probably DeJounte Murray. If they're able to do that, I think that opens up a lot of stuff. If you get DeJounte Murray, you got LeBron James, you got Anthony Davis. That's solid 3 right there. Then you got Austin Reeves. If you still have Rui Hachimura, he'll probably have to be throwing in the trade if they get DeJounte Murray, and honestly, probably Austin Reeves will probably have to be thrown in there as well. But if you get another star to throw in here, that's how the Lakers work. And if you're able to do that, I think it'll be a solid roster around that JJ can work with. And then once you get to the playoffs, yes, coaching's important, but as long as you don't do stuff to actively shoot your team in the foot as a coach, in my opinion, especially early on as a new coach, you're doing your job. So in my opinion, I think JJ Redick was the best possible option for the Lakers out there for this hire. Were there more experienced guys out there? James Borrego, Kenny Atkinson, if they went down that route. Some other guys in the fold as well. An experienced assistant coach like Sam Cassell. Yes, there was more experienced options in terms of coaching. But in my opinion, going forward, I think JJ Redick is a good piece, not just for the next, 2 years or so that LeBron has left, assuming he resigns and finishes his career here. I think this is good going forward as well. I know the Lakers even said previously that they see him as kind of like a Pat Riley-esque hire. Pat Riley's the top 5 coach of all time. I won't jump that far, even though as much as I like JJ Redick, which it still baffles me that I say this about a Duke guy that, I like him. You're not supposed to like any Duke guys. They're Duke guys for a reason. But I really like JJ. I think this is a good long-term play, and I think he'll succeed very well here. What does success look like? He said in his press conference, I came here to win championships. I want to become a good NBA coach. That's the expectation here. And I also like what he said as well. We want to come in every day thinking about competition. He also noted as well he'll need buy-in from the players. He did also talk about how he wanted, as I kind of previously mentioned, about Anthony Davis being that hub for the team and everything kind of rolling through him. Kind of like the Nuggets with Jokic. Kind of he's in the center, everything runs through him. The whole offense and existence of the team runs through him. I've been wanting that for a while. I think that's what we need. We've seen it in spurts a little bit, but I don't think it's been consistent enough, throughout the season and throughout the playoffs to make that wholesale change. So in closing again, I really liked the hire. I thought he handled his press conference really well. I like how he answered the question when he got, how are you going to address the, people who are questioning whether you're ready for this or not. He said, I don't have a good answer because I'll keep it PG on here. I don't really care. He didn't say that, and I kind of love that he didn't say that in the press conference, but I'll keep it PG on here. He said, I don't care. And I love that. I love that mentality because, everything going around, he's going to get a lot of questions and hate and, random questions that he shouldn't get. But I thought he handled it very well here first time. Obviously, big couple days here. Got the draft here on Thursday. The Lakers have the 17th pick, and then they have the 53rd pick on Friday. Still not used to them splitting the draft up into 2 days, and then obviously free agency starting next week as well. Going to be a big 2 weeks here, 2 to 3 weeks here for the Lakers, and obviously every NBA team to kind of shape this roster into what they're looking like. Summer League, obviously, starting here soon. But anyway, that'll do it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.